Hi, I'm Richard Niles, and welcome to a new series of videos where I tell stories about interesting things that have happened to me in the music biz. Well, here's an example of how a mistake led to a hit record, and how during a random audition, I discovered an international superstar who is still enjoying a fabulous career 50 years later. How about that? Well, in 1976, I was working at Hansa Records, a German label which had groups like Boney M in Japan and producers like Frank Farian and Giorgio Moroder. The A&R director in London was Steve Rowland, who had been a Hollywood actor in films such as The Battle of the Bulge and a pop star in his 60s group Family Dog. Well, I knew it was a good group because they had dogs in it. My parents knew his parents from Hollywood, and when we met, we really hit it off. I had already been staff arranger at EMI Publishing and Essex Music, and I started working for Hansa and did quite a bit of production on other artists. Steve Rowland was producing a song called I Lost My Heart to a Starship Trooper, written to cash in on the popularity of Star Wars. Well, I was the arranger in charge of a team of people, including two very talented keyboard players, Pete Solly and Craig Pruis, who handled the many synthesizer sounds and sound effects. My orchestra included a full rhythm section, a 20-piece string section, harp, flutes, trumpets, trombones, French horns. I had everything. But the record hit a snag. Steve realized that his boss, Peter Meisel, had made a major mistake. The girl who he had signed was very beautiful and a great dancer, but she couldn't sing. Steve called me into his office and said, "I need a beautiful girl who can sing and dance." Reaching for my cigar, I replied, "Sure, but what about the record?" Well, okay. I then mentioned to Steve that I had auditioned a girl a few months ago who might fit the bill. She was with a later incarnation of Pan's People, which was a female dance group that became popular for their revealing diaphanous outfits worn on the television shows like Top of the Pops. Well, Pan's People were now going to make a record of their own, and I had been asked by the record company to judge which one of the girls could handle lead vocals. Well, the girls were great dancers again, but none of them could sing except Sarah Brightman, who was highly trained and had an amazing range. She had a good sense of humor, too, which I liked. Well, by the time I tracked her down for Starship Trooper, she had joined an even sexier dance group called Hot Gossip, choreographed by Arlene Phillips. Well, there was quite a bit of political tension because Arlene Phillips had each member of Hot Gossip signed to her personally. She wanted the record to be credited to Arlene Phillips, Hot Gossip. She told Steve that unless he agreed, we couldn't use the group or Sarah. Drama! Tension! Was this the end of music as we knew it? Well, if you hit the subscribe button, I'll tell you what happened next. In fact, even if you don't, I'm going to tell you. Well, what she didn't know, what Arlene didn't know, was that you don't tell Steve Rowland anything. Steve simply said, no. This was a pop record, and it was too cumbersome to have a very long title and a very long artist name. It would have been I Lost My Heart to a Starship Trooper by Arlene Phillips Hot Gossip featuring Sarah Brightman. Well, he wouldn't stand for it. He said it wouldn't even fit on the vinyl single label. Well, Arlene tried to argue with Steve and threatened to walk. Steve said, "Go ahead. The deal's off. We'll get somebody else. Richard works with lots of singers. Thanks. Bye." Well, seeing Steve was dead serious, Arlene agreed, and the record was credited to Sarah Brightman and Hot Gossip. It made the top 10 in 1978 in many countries. After more disagreements with Phillips, Sarah left Hot Gossip, and we tried another solo record with Sarah that didn't fare so well. Sarah wisely went into musicals. One of them was Cats, where she met, married, and divorced Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber. She was then in a position to showcase her amazing voice, her classical training, and became a superstar classical crossover artist, selling 7 million multi-platinum records. Apart from being a fun person to work with, she's performed at the Olympics, done many musicals, plays, films, and operettas. She's won many awards, including a Grammy, and she has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. From this fascinating story, we can learn two things. Number one, even big record executives can make mistakes, and they do all the time. Number two, maybe more important, I guess I'm a pretty good judge of talent. Hey, if I'm so smart, why ain't I rich? Oh, I am rich, Richard Niles, and thanks for listening. Check out my other interesting stories on my Fab YouTube channel. Subscribe, share, comment, like, and be nice to your puppies. Thank you.
Radio Richard!